instead of being viewed as heroes, we're being viewed as villains and part of the problem.
Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on coronavirus. And the first thing that I want to mention is, yes, I have received all the emails and all of the messages, and I got some text messages with regards to what's going on. And it has to do with child custody and how coronavirus is being exploited as a weapon to deprive other parents of visitation. And the reason I haven't done a video is because this is no surprise to me. And honestly, I don't think it should be a surprise to my regular viewership either. Maybe some of the new people out there who haven't seen much of the channel are surprised. I'm not at all surprised. I already have done numerous videos on the topic of narcissistic pretexting or pretexting in general. A high conflict ex will use any opportunity that they can to deprive you of your visitation or to find other ways to frustrate you, because that's what they do. They're looking for conflict, and coronavirus is no different than any other excuse out there, with the exception that it's a popular one right now. Right now, it's a popular excuse, and if there was any other national emergency or global emergency going on, they would use that situation. It doesn't matter what the situation is, they're going to use it, because that's just what they do. All they need is an excuse. Coronavirus gives them an excuse. So the reason I'm doing this video is because one of the text messages that I got actually led me to a major news station that was covering the topic. And so let's go ahead and take a look at what they have to say first, and I'm going to go ahead and interject where I can.
And I'm Jared Smalley. Healthcare workers are undoubtedly putting in long hours, taking care of the sick and trying to find a way to put this global pandemic to an end.
And now some of them are finding themselves in a different fight to not lose custody of their children.
I'm scared. I'm hurt. I'm exhausted. I'm just kind of at a loss. And I really feel like there's nothing to protect me at this point.
Okay, so I can see that this is a mother who is very frustrated with what's going on, and that's because she's probably taken her ex's excuse as a sincere excuse. Here is what I feel is the difference between a sincere excuse and an exploitative one, or a pretext. If the person puts themselves in your shoes, there is a possibility that their reason to deprive you of visitation is sincere. And what I mean by sincere is that's actually why they're depriving you of visitation. High conflict child custody involves high conflict parents, and more importantly, or more often, personality disordered parents. These people either are incapable of putting themselves in your shoes or just don't care. So when these types of people give an excuse, that's not sincerely the reason as to why they're depriving you of visitation. And I think that's at the heart of why she's so frustrated, because she thinks that coronavirus is what she's trying to protect the world from, given the fact that she's a nurse and she's being punished for it. No, if it's a high conflict ex, they don't care. All they're doing is doing what they want to, which is to deprive you of visitation and frustrate you, and they're just throwing an excuse at you. It doesn't mean anything to them. It could have been any other excuse out there. It's just now they have an excuse that they didn't have before. So they're going to go ahead and use that. So if there's any of my viewers out there who are going through this kind of situation, and I already know there are because I'm getting messages, it's the same thing. They never gave two craps about coronavirus. It's just now a convenient excuse to deprive you of visitation. So you can't really deal with this person logically because they don't want to deal with you logically. The only way that you can deal with this person is through the court system. And that's just like any other situation that I brought up on my channel. I've got a number of other videos out there on how to deal with that problem, but that's probably not going to work out. And before I explain why, we can go ahead and continue this video a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and interject at the opportune moment.
Tiffany DeMarcus says she needs protection, not from coronavirus. As a longtime nurse, she already knows how to do that, but from the father of her young daughter.
I was not allowed to have her back because I have been exposed to COVID-19 because I am a nurse.
Tiffany says she is learning that healthcare workers, first responders all across the country are facing this same problem. Ex-spouses defying court orders and refusing to share custody because they claim to fear coronavirus exposure.
It's breaking my heart for my daughter. It's breaking my heart for other people in this position. it's breaking my heart for their children. You know, it's instilling fear in our children that we're sick, and that they can't be around us.
Or do you feel like you have to choose between your job and your child?
I have been asked by many people if I can just quit my job so that I can just be a mom. And I'm very angry. This is how I'm a single mom. This is how I provide for my children. I can't afford thousands of dollars in legal fees to fight.
But here in Franklin County, that might not happen.
You know, as a court, you have a court order. You're to follow whatever shared parenting or custody plan that you have until there's another court order. And to penalize these folks because they are saving lives and are out there on the front line, you know, it's just not right.
Domestic Court Judge Dana Price says she conferred with other judges on the Franklin County bench, and they agree court orders for shared parenting must be enforced, even for healthcare workers.
They are constantly exposed to different things at their work sites. So this doesn't really change that. I mean, I understand the fear in the other parent, but I also think people could be taking advantage of the situation.
Judge Price says the parent who is withholding the child can be charged with contempt of court, can be ordered to pay all attorney fees, and can be sent to jail for up to 30 days.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not even, no. That's not going to happen. Here's what most likely will happen. Most likely, the judges won't want to get into any of the details at all. For something like that to happen, fines or prison time or jail time, not prison time. For something like that to happen, the judge would actually have to care enough to go into the details of the case. They would have to actually delve deep and try and get into the communications back and forth to determine whether or not it was clear that that particular parent violated the court order using coronavirus as a pretext. Most of the judges aren't going to do that. They're going to take the pretext at face value, which means they're going to just, what is it called? They're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to say, okay, well, this is a silly reason to withhold the children, but we'll just go ahead and assume that that was sincerely why you did what you shouldn't have done. And for that reason, we're not going to fine you. We're not going to jail you. I would laugh my butt off if they actually jailed somebody. And not because I thought that it was a ridiculous move for a judge, but because I would be like, whoa, I just got proved wrong. I cannot believe that a judge actually got into the details and jailed somebody over using coronavirus. The only way that that's going to happen is all of the things that I mentioned earlier. That judge is, first of all, going to have a serious understanding about how high conflict child custody works and how personality disorders work, because if a judge has those understandings, then they are going to, instead of going with their instinct, which is that they should just take this as a face value excuse, they're going to be going, hold on a second, this person is actually just using this as an excuse. They have weaponized the coronavirus to purposefully and deliberately violate the court order. And so following that sort of line of reasoning, they're going to say, okay, well, since you've not only deliberately violated the court's order, but you violated a national emergency, I'm going to go ahead and jail you. All of that's going to have to happen for a judge to actually go that far with coronavirus. The only exception might be something like a judge ordering somebody, hey, I've heard you, your excuse isn't good enough, let them see the kids, and then they still didn't let them see the kids even after being told that coronavirus wasn't a good excuse. I don't think that's going to happen in a lot of these cases, because I doubt that this is going to go for more than a month or 2 or 3, and with these cases often they're 2 or 3 months out, so I doubt anyone's even seen a judge yet at all. Maybe there's some emergency orders floating around, but I really doubt it. So most of the judges don't know any of that stuff that I just described with regards to parents deliberately finding a reason to violate a court order. Most of them are just going to take it at face value. And that's as far as you get when you take something like this at face value. You're basically legitimizing the coronavirus concern that person had, even though it was a fake concern. And so if you're legitimizing that concern as a judge, you're going to reach the conclusion of, oh, well, okay, don't do it again. And that's going to be the beginning and end of it. So I think a lot of the people, if they have good judges, they're going to get something like makeup time. I think that it's going to be the rare parent out there that actually gets a judge who holds their ex in contempt of court, and even rarer that actually throws their ex in jail.
Now, under the terms of her shared parenting agreement, Tiffany DeMarcus is scheduled to get her daughter back in her home on Sunday. We'll let you know if that happens. Judge Price says jail time usually does not happen, but the court can also order the parent who defies a court order to allow the other parent to make up any lost parenting time. And importantly, she also
so that might have been an attempt by this judge to hedge. She's probably afraid that some of her litigants will appear in court and they'll actually cite the news clip that we just saw and say, hey, well, you said in this news clip you're not supposed to do that. Why are you letting my ex get away with it? Most likely the judge will say, oh, well, they didn't know any better. Here you go, have some makeup time. So in the end, my confidence in the family division's ability to deal with a problem like this is very low. I do not think that the legislature has done enough. I do think that the legislature can do a lot more to control the judge's response in situations like this where court orders are violated. There's way too much discretion, and if you want to know why that's a problem, watch my video, Discretion. I can't even believe that they make the language of the makeup time discretionary. I mean, I can't even get my head around that. At the very least, the legislature can create some statutory language that mandates makeup time, but they haven't even done that. So again, I appreciate what the news, what this particular station's doing with regards to bringing, I guess, some awareness to this issue. I don't think that it's going to be received by the public in the way that it should be. I think most of the public is going to be like, oh my God, what an evil father. How dare he do that? And they're not going to really look at this as a systemic problem. They're going to just look at this as an isolated incident with a person who is punishing a healthcare worker. I highly doubt many people are going to go into the psychology of it. I highly doubt many people are going to go into the competence of the judiciary. And I'm only really doing this video because this clip actually underlines the sort of skin deep approach that the public takes and that the media takes when dealing with problems like this. This is a very complicated problem with very counterintuitive solutions. And it's unfortunate, but my opinion on this doesn't change having seen the video, and my confidence in the media's and the judiciary's ability to deal with this problem hasn't changed at all. So hopefully my viewers can take something away from this video. The reason I've resisted doing a video on this topic for so long is because I don't have a solution to this problem. There is no legal solution to this problem that I haven't really covered in all of my other videos out there. And it's unfortunate for me to have to even say that, but that's just the truth of it. And the last thing that I want to stress is just because this is the way that the system works, and just because this is the way that the judges approach this problem, doesn't mean that I endorse it or that I agree with it. I like to let my viewers know that I am telling you how it is. It doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's okay. I do think that it's wrong, and I do think that they can do a whole lot more to solve problems like this, but really it's a problem that goes way beyond coronavirus. It's a problem that goes to enforcement of court orders, and it's a problem that I have covered in numerous other videos already. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, and if you have any questions as with my previous video, feel free to post them down in the comments below. I will see you guys next time.